Flosstube, my name is Laurie. This is my very first Flosstube. I have watched many of you on Flosstube and loved watching your videos and adding to my wish list and all of that. And I've been thinking for a while about making my own Flosstube, but wasn't really sure when or how to get started. I don't know, so many things go through your head. But for Christmas this year, my husband bought me some accessories to try to help with that, so we'll see how it goes. I have actually filmed a full Flosstube, the first Flosstube, about 12 times, but I always find something wrong with it, so I end up deleting it and starting over. And who knows how many little starts, and then I say something stupid and then I stop it. I don't know how many of those that I've done. But a little bit about me. I am going to be 48 and I've been stitching since I was 18. When I was about 8 or 9, my grandma got me started on those little plastic canvas magnets, and I think it was a natural progression to cross stitch from there. So yeah, in 2006 to 2010, I owned Enchanted Fabrics, which is a hand-dyed fabric business for cross stitch. And my husband was active duty military, so that worked so well to allow me to stay home with the boys while he deployed and still make a living. But when we knew he was going to retire, we decided that I needed to do something different. I needed to make something that brought in a little bit more substantial income. So I went into nursing school and decided at that time I needed to shut down Enchanted Fabrics. And it was a good thing I did, because as soon as I went to my first semester of nursing school, he deployed and it was a total nightmare. Anyway, so yeah, I'm in healthcare. He's now retired from the Air Force. He works for the state now. Let's see. I would go in these waves, right, of stitching where I will stitch hardcore and be all about it and it's everything that I want to do, and then I don't for a little bit, and that's sometimes how life goes, I guess, especially when you've been doing it for 30 years. But I was doing really well, and then we lost 5 family members from October 2019 to January 2021. And one of those was my mom. None of them were really expected. So you'll see here when I talk about my WIPs that I kept trying to start things to make myself want to stitch, and yeah, it didn't happen really. So I kind of fell off the face of the stitching world for a while. I'm in several Facebook groups, one of which was Magical Stitches, and I think I got booted because that's about the time when there was so much stuff going on, and I felt like, COVID happened and you couldn't see anybody, but then my family was getting together every 3 to 4 months for a funeral, it felt like, and my family's a bunch of jokesters, and we deal with trauma through jokes because we don't, know how else, I guess, to do it. But we would be like, we gotta quit meeting up this way. This is bad. So, yeah, it's been a rough couple of years. But this past September, I picked up my stitching again, and I was raring to go, and I am 100% back into it. And I thought, yeah, this would be a cool time to start a Flosstube. My husband and I have 2 kids. They are 24 and 26, and so they're out of the house. And yeah, this was one of the boys' old bedrooms, and so when they moved out, I took it over. We are thinking of making our winter project this year a new craft room. We have a fully finished basement. We live way out in the country in the Midwest, and we last year in January started a project that, funny enough, I thought would only take 5 days. I literally took 5 days off work and said, yeah, we're going to lay this laminate flooring here and it's going to be awesome. But why is it that one project turns into another project, So, to pull up 5 different kinds of flooring, which is what we had in our kitchen, dining room, hallway, living room, and office, that turned into pulling up trim and repainting the trim. And if we're going to do that, why don't we repaint the walls? And gosh, we should fix the crack in the ceiling and repaint the beams that go in the, just it led one thing to another, and literally we didn't finish until I think May. And then we decided in May we were going to do an outside project. We have this little teardrop shaped area. Our driveway goes around it, and there's a little koi pond with a waterfall. We left that, but we ripped up everything else. We put down really heavy duty weed fabric. We laid 12 tons of rock. And then all of a sudden I got into gardening, which was crazy because I would have told you that I have a black thumb and I kill everything I touch. As far as plants go, I've never had a house plant. But yeah, I totally got into what will bring more hummingbirds and bees and butterflies. And we have a ton of milkweed in our field in the back, and we've got a perfect area for monarch butterflies, and they're so endangered. And what can I plant that would make them come here? And so yeah, all of a sudden I got into gardening. Never have before, but flower gardening I love. My husband usually does the vegetable garden. He's a farmer's son, so he took care of all that. But the last couple years we haven't done that either, because it seems like when you have a weekend to get in there and weed and take care of things, it's rainy, muddy mess, and then it gets overgrown, and then it gets frustrating. And yep, so we need to redo that again. I tried to do a couple of tomato and pepper plants on the back deck, and I tried it too late, so we didn't really get much out of that. But yeah, gardening all over it now. I love it, and I can't wait for spring so I can see if my tulips grow. And I planted a moon garden, so I can't wait to see what that looks like, and I'm really excited to start seeing the stuff come up. But gosh, it's only January 2nd, so you know I got a while to wait for that. We also have 6 dogs. We have 6 golden retrievers, I should say. I was a veterinary technician before I was a nurse, and I loved golden retrievers, and so I got my very first one 7 years ago, and that opened the floodgates. And so now we have a herd. And we have 3 cats, and 2 of them are indoor, and one's a barn cat. But she has a heated house on our front porch. And during that blizzard that came through last week, she was in here. So, not this room specifically, but in the house. So she's a little spoiled. She gets fed just like our other cats do, even though she's a mouse or 2. But yeah, so that's a little bit about us. Yeah, I don't know if I already put that in here or not, but maybe I'll cut it out if I did. This was my son's old room, and I took it over for cross stitch. I really only cross stitch. I call it my craft room, but I really only cross stitch. I love reading too, but we have a fully finished basement, and there's a room down there that we use, like our chest freezers in it. There's storage in there. We used it last year when we were doing all of the updates here, so my husband could run down there and cut something and bring it back up, and he wouldn't have to run all the way out to the garage. So we got it all cleaned up, and my husband said, hey, this room's bigger. Do you want this to be your craft room? And so I'm like, bigger is good, but there's a whole lot that needs to be done in there for it to be able to work for me, because it has a carpet that's like this thin on concrete flooring, and the walls need to be cleaned and painted, and the trim needs to be done, and the ceiling is a drop ceiling, which is fine, but has fluorescent lighting, so that needs to be changed. So he said that our winter project would be a craft room project. So if you're interested in watching that, please let me know below, because we could certainly film a lot of that and figure out how we're going to maybe better organize some of the stuff that I have. So yeah, that's another thing we could do here. I do have, since it's January 2nd, I have lots of WIPs here. I've got 27, so I counted. There's a few that I'm not sure if I want to continue, and I'll show you those and kind of tell you why, and maybe you can give me some ideas on what I should do, or if I can fix it, or if I don't even know. So anyway, like I said, this past September, I got back into stitching, and I was ready to go, and I just picked up a little project at first. So it's kind of funny, because this little tiny project that I started and finished. It's on Etsy. If you want to know the designer name, I can find it for you. But it was just something that I could pick up and finish real fast. It's on a 32 count Lugana. This is one of my fabrics, enchanted fabrics. It's a Dragon's Mist flare, I think. Anyway, it's kind of a blue with a dark gray kind of color in it. So that's the only thing I've finished this year. Everything else I've been working on my WIPs. although I did start a few things too. So let's get started on the WIP parade. I will first start with the things that I have sitting here that are on scroll rods, and I'm actually going to start with my oldest project. It is a Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Brigid Ashwood. It's called The Guide. And I started this back in 2004. My husband and I got married in 2004. And our best man loves wolves. And so I thought I would stitch this for him. As you can see, it's still not done. And that was 19 years ago. So I do have the whole top row completed. I think this was about 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this page is really tiny, I think. 5 pages across the top are done. And I was going to go down here next, but I could see the tip of his ear right there. So I cheated and came down here because I wanted to see the wolf. Obviously, it's taken me 19 years to do this, so I wanted a little bit of reward for working on it this long. This is a 28 count white Monaco fabric. It was either before they did EZCount or before I'd ever heard of EZCount or something, because this is not an EZCount, and I do all of my 1/1s on that now, all my full coverage. So you can see I've kind of gridded some of the pages here, and I'll go in and grid the 10 by 10 when I'm about ready to do them. I have like 300 stitches left on this page. I just need to knock it out. So I do belong to WIP Go, and I've been with that since she first started that board. I've watched Jessie Marie does stuff for a long time. So this was on my WIP Go board as completing 1,000 stitches, and I actually have not touched it yet this year. So this is one that I've got to, I should say I have not touched it yet last year because now it's a new year. So my goal for this year is another 1,000 stitches on it. So another, like I did any last year. I don't even know why I said that. But anyway, we'll see if I can pop in 1,000 stitches on this. I did join a new Facebook group. I'm on Semi-Sane, and I'm on the new one I just joined is Fandom Central Stitching. I think they're doing Lord of the Rings theme this year. So watching the movies and reading the books and stitching goals associated with what's going on in those. And so I'm hoping that'll kind of keep me going. I love geeky stuff. You'll see. I've got stuff in here. Anyway, this fabric is super old and dirty and gross, and I need to wash it. And it's been on this scroll rod for probably the whole 19 years. So it probably permanently has the roll in it, but you know, someday it'll get done and then I'll have to find out, and I'll probably be mad because I will have spent all this time with this in here, not finishing it and not being able to iron that out. Who knows? My next one on a scroll rod is Teresa Wentzler, the Storyteller. This is actually a restart. The guide, by the way, I think I said I started in 2004. This one is a restart. So I started it on Ada, and she's got a lot of 3/4 stitches, so I scrapped that and I restarted it on Monaco. This is also an Enchanted Fabrics. It's Siren's called Mystique. I'm not even up to where I was before I restarted it. So let me see. I restarted this on March 24th, 2019. Before I had a good chunk of this side border in. And I had all of him. I had the rock he was sitting on, the dragon's face, and I think the dragon's tail. So I'm almost there. This has a lot of tweeting in it, which is when you take a DMC of one color and a DMC of another color and put them in the same needle. So that's very time consuming for me, and it makes me not want to pick up this project as much. So on things like my WIP Go board, I make very small goals so that I can just try to finish this. So I think my WIP Go goal last year was to finish the rock he was sitting on, and I did not pick it up last year to do. So this year I'm just going to repeat that, finish the rock he's sitting on, and maybe start on his face because it's just like right up here. Also, this is a ClaybyKim Needleminder. I probably got this in 2018, and I haven't gotten one of hers in a long, long time. So you'll see quite a few that I got way back in the day, but I haven't gotten one in a while. So, and then my last one on a scroll rod is Chatelaine, but that's upside down. This is Rose Lights. It's one of her older ones, but I really like it. And this one was actually a restart too. I started this, let me look here, Rose Lights, 12/2/20 is when I restarted it. I had actually started it in the middle, and then I found out that something had ripped my fabric, and oh, I was so upset about that. I had only put about 100 stitches in it, so I popped in 100 stitches then back in December of 2020, just to kind of be where I was before, but I started in the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner if I'm looking at it. And then I got pulled for either semi-seine, WIP Wranglers, or something, and I popped another 200 in it. This is another ClaybyKim Needleminder. It's one of her flowers, and this fabric is just an antique blue Lugana. So my goal for this one, I think, is to finish the whole top border. So that's my WIP Go goal for that this year. My next piece is a piece that I don't have a picture of right here. Wait, I might have it in my, I do. So this is Heaven and Earth Designs Mini Sleepy Hollow. I forget who the artist is on this one. I'm stitching it on the 28 count EZCount. So you can see I've started the moon, the start of the skull is right here. You can see the trees. I started this on May 15th, 2020. Forgive all my hair clips. This is my crazy way of keeping everything somehow organized. This is a glow-in-the-dark ghost needleminder. It's by Gina's Unique Boutique. She has a shop on Etsy and she has a Facebook group. And then this is just a supernatural magnet. I forget who did this one. I have it somewhere. If you're interested in knowing who did this one, I can find that. Wait, I might have it here on my, I have my digital planner here in front of me. So I do have some of my Needleminders in here. I do. Nerdy Needle Shop on Etsy, but they're closed. So sorry. Okay, let me go back to my WIPs here so that I can have my information in front of me. All right, so that's that. And the rest of her stuff, his stuff, whatever, is in a Christine Stitch All the Things bag. She sold some on Etsy there for a while. So I have that in there. This is a Garon Tottenbags bag, and this is Rose Lights. So it's cute though. It's got little witches on it, beehives. Super cute. I love how thick their bags are, but I really like the ones that have the vinyl in the front. So that is that one. I also have a cute bag from SheriSewSweet on Etsy. These little woodland animals. This is what my wolf is in, the guide. But yeah, super cute. I have a lot of those little, there's a couple of different people that are doing the woodland animals, like cottage garden samplings, I think. But yeah, that's a great little bag for one of those. This next piece is called Supernatural, nope, I say that every time, Steampunk Bride. I don't know why I want to call her Supernatural Bride, but I do. Sorry for the crinkling. She is from Custom Cross Stitch. I got her on Etsy. She's a full coverage. Look at how beautiful she is. And that dress is stunning. So I have her also on a 28 count Lugana EZCount. And I just have really the top corner done. So you can see there's kind of that gray border around there. And then there's kind of blues and blacks. And I'm going to start getting into the chains coming down here. So my full coverage goals are usually about 1,000 stitches for WIP Go. I did get 400 on hers late last year. She was called for something. I don't remember what. This is a ClaybyKim Needleminder, one of her dragons. And this is another Christine Stitch All the Things bag. But yeah, I have coming up this week there is a stitch for Lord of the Rings to stitch on something with an instrument, and she's got a violin, so I'm probably going to be doing that for her. Next in this bag, this is a Garon Tottenbags bag, is one of the ones that I'm not sure about keeping. Okay, so it's called Fantasy Bears. There was a company called the Vermilion Stitchery. They did like a little freebie thing every year. So I love fantasy stuff because I'm a total geek. And these are super cute. Like this is the one I'm working on now, the Good Witch. There's a mermaid. What else is there? Poseidon. Really cutesy. Griffin. I'm not super into cutesy, but you know, there was a limited supply of cool fantasy stuff back in the day. I started this in 2006 or 2007, so this is one of the ones that I kind of want a UFO, but there's so much done on it, and I hate to do that. When I owned Enchanted Fabrics, we did a round robin on one of the message boards, and so a lot of people have stitched on this, and I'm stitching my Glinda the Good Witch here. But yeah, Mercury is done, the Wizard's done, the Unicorn's done, Fairy Godmother, and a dragon. This fabric is a Lugana Opalescent 32 count Hocus Pocus Flare Enchanted Fabrics, and the Needleminder is another ClaybyKim Needleminder. So it's not the fabric. I love the fabric. It's just I'm not so into these cutesy little things anymore. However, you know, my youngest is having a baby. Maybe it would work for him. So we'll see. It's just not something that I pick up because I feel like I have a million other things that I want to stitch more. So yeah, that's where I am with that one. And apparently I have all three of the ones that I'm not really liking at the moment right here. So this one is Dawn Fairy Spirit of Grace. The designer is Passione Ricamo. I hope I'm saying that right. I have completed two of her fairies. I completed Moon Fairy Spirit and Summer Fairy Spirit. They are both framed by Jill Rinsel and they're hanging in my living room and I love them. This one is a fabric problem. Definitely a fabric problem because the fabric is too close to the color of the dress. And I swear I did a floss toss before I started this, but it's just way too close. Her hair, that black, just pops right off this fabric. This fabric was an Enchanted Fabrics one called Fairy Tears. It's got like a pale pink, a purpley pink, and then a blue in it. And like this side is okay because it's blue most of the way, but now it's in the purple area. I think when I do this side, her dress is going to be right here along the purple. So here's an I solemnly swear I'm up to no good Needleminder. I want to keep this fabric. I love this fabric. I like the design. I'm thinking about outlining the dress. That's the only thing I can think of. This is too much to frog for me. I don't want to frog that. But I don't want to waste the fabric either. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think if I outline it with just like maybe a I don't know, not even black or anything, but maybe I don't know. Or I could just keep going and see where it gets me. But it's not the design. It's not, and it's not even the fabric. It's this design on the fabric. Oh, and by the way, this bag is adorable. Look at this. It's embroidered on here. Isn't this beautiful? Ugh. And the inside matches. It's by Pinky Promises on Etsy. And I bought this one and another unicorn one. And they're quilted. I loved it so much I just ordered more from her, and they just came in this last week. So I'm super excited. This is my last one that Dawn Fairy Spirit of Grace. I started in 2007, by the way. Okay, this is the last one. I'm not sure I want to keep going on. This is a bag by SheriSewSweet. Purple's my favorite color. So I love the purple butterflies. This one is, I hope I'm not banging everything, the Sweetheart Tree. I always want to call it Sweet Tart Tree. It's called Weeping Violets. So again, purple my favorite color. Green my second favorite color. This was a kit. This is where I am so far on it. I think this was a Hobby Lobby or 1-2-3 Stitch. And this is a ClaybyKim Needleminder. Really pretty colors. I hate this fabric. It is a Jaslyn Opalescent. I don't even know if they make Jaslyn Opalescent anymore. The weave is so soft, it's hard to count your holes on it. And I almost think I need a stiffer fabric to do this, because this fabric, it comes like in lines, like row 1 you do this, row 2 you do this, whatever. And I used to have it on my WIP Go board as a complete the next row, whatever it was. And that wouldn't even take me an hour or two to do, but it does, because I miscount and then I have to go back and frog and redo it, and it's just very frustrating. So I wouldn't mind restarting this, but maybe on something different. My problem is it's a kit, so these are all silks, and so that would be a waste of the thread that's on there. But I used to belong to Vicki Clayton's Hand-Dyed Fibers Silk Club, so I bet I could find something that's close and still do it. But I think that if I did it on different fabric, I could do it a lot faster. I started this in 2007-ish is what it says. But yeah, I'm just not happy with this fabric and how, I mean, it looks pretty. It really does look pretty. But it's just hard to count. So yeah, what do you guys think? Should I restart it? Maybe just use my own silks for the colors? Okay. My next one is, thanks to Flosstube, Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow if it's right side up. Sorry for the glare. I am doing this on one of my fabrics. It's a Cafe Mocha Mystique, and it's on like a fat half of Lugana. I got the first, there we go. This is what I have done on it. So I got the first block completely finished. My WIP Go goal this year was to complete the second block. It got called for, I think, WIP Wranglers. And I put in over 600 stitches on it, and I am nowhere near done with this block. So I often will underestimate designs and think, oh yeah, I can get that done, no problem. And then look, I'm barely a quarter of it done. Not even. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique Needleminder. And it's in one of the new bags I just got from Pinky Promises. Isn't this beautiful? I love this. The inside fabric on this one is like a skull and crossbones. I love it. And she sends you in these, she sends you like some little floss cards that kind of go with your design. I was so excited when my husband and I just got back from New York City, and I was so excited when I came home and this came in. I actually, I had gotten 2 unicorn ones before, one I already showed you, and I got those again because I loved them so much. Speaking of, here's the one I got again. And in this project bag lives my July's Amethyst Fairy by Mirabilia. My husband's birthday's in July, and mine's in February, so my birthstone's Amethyst. So this works really well for us. This fabric color is a pale purpley color. And it's a Lugana opalescent, but I don't know who it's by. But here's where I am so far. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique Needleminder. My goal on this for WIP Go was 1,000 stitches. You can see some of that's white. It's much more noticeable in person, but right here is some white stitching. There, you can see a little better. You'll notice on all these ladies that I have, I tend to start in the middle and I go down. Like, I want to do the dress. A lot of people want to put a face on a design. I just want to do that dress, man. Those dresses are gorgeous. So this one did get called for, must have been semi-seam. And I did 200 stitches in her and started on another 200, but I didn't get much more than that. So probably 250 or something is what I got in her. So I think my goal for her this year on WIP Go is 1,000 stitches. If I have a cool like goal that I can do, like her, it's hard to section out that dress. That dress is so big. I can't say do this piece like the stone in the finish the stone he's sitting on or whatever. So yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do with that. Let's see. This one is a bag by, it says Quilting Grimalkin. I hope I'm saying that right. Down here, but I think when I looked up on my Etsy purchase, it said Crafty Grimalkin or Crafting Grimalkin. I'm not sure. This is my Away We Ride. This was put on my list because of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And she stitched this up so fast. And I say that because it probably didn't feel fast to her, but for me, binging her videos, like, it was done super fast. And I started this on May 17th, 2020. And I literally got one little acorn in it and then put it up. So my WIP Go goal this year was to complete the whole top border, and I did. I had like this and maybe some of this. So that was my goal this year. This is a ClaybyKim Needleminder again. This is on 28-count Legacy Picture This Plus. And I think for my WIP Go goal, my next goal is to complete the line underneath here and then do all these words. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. I like picking a specific goal because I feel like if I just say 1,000 stitches, I could have done more, but I stop when I count. So, but if I love it, I'll just keep going. Who knows? We'll see. Next is a Garon Tottenbags. And this is my Midnight Enchanter by Dimensions. I think these are out of print. I think. The Chart and Charms pack. I have a couple of these. I really want the Sorceress that kind of goes with this, but I have another mermaid one in this Chart and Charms. This one I'm doing for my son. I told you we were totally nerdy. When my kids were little, we taught them about Ren fairs, and I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so we did book release parties and going to the films and things like that. So my oldest loved dragons, and I was able to find a little dragon alphabet, and I stitched his name on it and made him a pillow. And my youngest loved wizards, so I picked up this for him because it's a super cool wizard. But as you can tell, he's 24. He'll be 25 in a couple weeks. Still not done. I started this in 2006. Yeah. My WIP goal this year was to complete the rock that he was standing on, and I finished that. So my next WIP goal, this over here is all half stitches, and so there's some over here. So I'm going to complete that whole side over here in half stitches. Then I'll start on that moon behind him, and there's like a purple swoosh and then some back stitching. So I really think this is one I could finish next year. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get it finished. He's the one who's having the baby, so maybe the baby would like it. Maybe they'd like it in the baby's room. I don't know. This is either a 1, 2, 3 stitch or Hobby Lobby Needleminder. Nothing exciting. And this fabric is a 28 count cashel linen Stormy Night Flare Enchanted Fabrics. So it is on my goal to finish this one next year. This year. I keep saying next year, but it's this year. This is the Quilting Grimalkin again. And this is Al Forest Embroideries Atlantis. This is what it's going to look like. I got the kit, so called for fabric, called for threads are all together. I love this design. I started this 11/3 of 2020. The Needleminders are also from there. They're stuck together, so... Oh, here's another one in the back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how that's all on there. Before this year, I had both the seahorses done and this little orange motif completed. And so my WIP goal was to complete this side motif. This cool one. I really love doing that one. The bubble in the house. And the bubble and the little wave were in the same color, so I just went ahead and knocked that out. So I completed my WIP goal this last year on it. So my next WIP goal, there's a big house that goes right over here. What else is there? Yeah, I'll probably complete that house, this yellowish house, and then just jet up here to the side and start working on some of that. So it's fun though. I really, really like this piece. I have my Garon Tottenbags Superheroes bag, and in my superhero bag is my Supernatural sampler. Curse words incoming on this. So if anybody needs to look away, have them look away. This is my Supernatural sampler. It's sayings from the TV show Supernatural, which I love. And it is on white Lugana. And I think I'm going to finish this one too. It's all the way done at the bottom, so I just have a few more things to do at the top. My goal on this was 1,000 stitches for WIP go, and I did complete that this year. So my WIP go goal this year is to finish it. There's some back stitching in the car too. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique Needleminder. It's an angel wing. If you know, you know. But I got this Team Freewheel done, and I finished all of this actually for my 1,000. But I started working on this, so I have this little blurb, this big blurb, and then these, and then I'm done. Oh, and then the back stitch because black stitch. But anyway, this is on my goals to finish this year. And I think I can do it. I think I could probably do it in less than a week, honestly. I started this one 4/20 of 2019. So that one's almost done. It's another Garon Tottenbags. This one is from Game of Thrones, Night's Watch Oath. This is not the entire oath, they say, if you watch Game of Thrones at the Night's Watch. But it's close, and I love it. So it is on Black Lugana. I started this on 4/10 of 2019. This is where I am. I've got all the words done. So I changed some of the words to different colors just because I wanted to. And then I'm working on that top border here. These are all done in Vicky Clayton silks. And then some of the words I did in Petite Treasure Blade. So braid, not blade. So crowns, sword is silver. Yeah, super cool. My WIP Go goal this year was to complete the top border. So I assume that means this one that I'm working on and not this one way up here. So I did get it called. I did over 200 stitches in the bird. Yep. I think I could. I say that. See, good. I'm probably underestimating again because there's a lot of stuff around here. You guys are witness now to me underestimating. But it feels like the words were a lot of this project, and that's all done. So I just got to do all the borders. So I'm trying to decide if I want to complete the rest of it in white, so then the colors just kind of pop out. But the swords might be cool to do kind of in a different color, so I don't know. I think my goal on this is still to complete the top border. And that bird is big, so it's going to take me a while to get that done. But I at least did pull it out and throw a couple hundred stitches in it this year. Oh, this Needleminder was, I think, a freebie given to me by Gina's Unique Boutique. I think I ordered a whole bunch and she just threw a little freebie on there. Okay, let's see what my next one is. Oh, this is one that I just started this year. I started it when? November 5th, 2022. Curse words also. This is a saying from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's my husband's favorite movie. He doesn't know I'm doing it. It's not that it's a surprise or a secret or anything. I just thought maybe if it will be one day, then he just doesn't know. So it's easy enough. It's in red. I'm just doing it on white Ada because I wanted something easy. So that's where I am on that one. This Needleminder is super cute. I can't remember where I got this one from. But if you're interested, I can certainly find out because I know it's on Etsy. And all I gotta do is look at my past purchases. This is also on Etsy. It is, let me see here, Demented Stitchers. And my Night's Watch Oath was Lolita Made, also from Etsy. If I missed any of the other ones and you're interested, just holler. Garon Tottenbags bag. This is Waxing Moon Designs, My Heart Beats True. Had this pattern so long that they're kind of coming apart here. But that's what it's supposed to look like. This is just done on a kind of a sandy colored Monaco. These are the called for threads. But you can tell the die lots are way different. That heart is definitely looks more red in there, and that border has some navy color to it, and this is very light. So die lots change, but my goal this year was to finish this heart. I probably had this much of the heart done, probably the same thing with the border. So my WIP Go goal was to finish the heart and start on the stripes, so I did. So this goal was completed this year. This is a Snarky Crafter Needleminder. School of Stitchcraft and Wizardry, I think. Wizardry and Stitchcraft. So my goal on that this year is to complete the whole entire top stripe. I like making little goals, and then if I just love it, I'll just keep going. But also, I feel like I have a lot of WIPs, although not as many as some of you have. But at least if it's attainable, I'll feel like I can do it. Okay, this is Halloween Sampler Cottage Garden Samplings. I saw this on Flosstube as well, so I picked it up. And I was thinking, cake, right? I can do a word every week, 2 weeks. I could knock this out in no time. This project's been the bane of my existence. It's done on a 28 count Joblin, one of mine, Enchanted Fabrics, Slate Flare. This is where I've gotten to on it. This is also Snarky Crafter Design, Ravenclaw. I have stitched parts of this A twice, but like this part I miscounted on, frogged it out, restitched it. This part I miscounted on, frogged it out, restitched it. This part, oh, so frustrating. I finally got past that, got all the way down to, I can't even remember if it was Broom or Creepy, but one of them was off by one, so I had to pull that out and redo it. And I don't even know if I pulled it out and redid it, honestly. Because if I did, it was like the 2 E's or the 2 O's were off, and I would have to pull the whole rest of the word out. So I went down here to Dracula, found out this piece of the A was off, so I had to pull it out and restitch it. Then this D, I restitched entirely twice. So this project went into timeout jail. Was not on my WIP Go goals or anything this year. Last year, because now it's a new year. I do have it on my WIP Go goal this year. I have it to finish E, F, and G. So we'll see. This one is also Garon Tottenbags. This is Glendon Place, Murky Manor. I have done a Glendon Place house before. I did Grim, Glum, and Gloom. It's framed in my living room. I'm doing this on a 28 count Celadon Flare Enchanted Fabrics. And you can see my house is done. This group is Gina's Unique Boutique. So it looks really nice. I like it. My goal was 1,000 stitches on that this year. I didn't touch it. I say this year, that's not going to change. I'm going to be messed up for a while. So yeah, 1,000 stitches more is going to be my WIP Go goal this year. So we'll see if that gets called and pulled and done. I think she's already done the WIP Go for January. And I think the first one called was that stupid Halloween one that I'm mad at. And maybe July's Amethyst Fairy. I have to look and see. This one is the Quilting Grimalkin again. This is Primitive Hair Spooky Countdown. That's what it's going to look like. You can do it either in the calendar where every day is separate or together. I'm doing all of mine together. That's not a really great picture, but it's a PDF, so that's what I have. This fabric is one that I dyed myself. I actually hand dyed it for, or I dyed it for a project by Little River called Stitcher's Brew. And I've been saving it with that project for well over 10 years. And when I bought this, I was like, ooh, that fabric would work great. So I pulled it out. So I started this on February 16th, 2020. I completed the whole first banner, the top banner. And so my WIP Go goal this last year was to complete 4 blocks, which I did. So that one's done. These blocks are so easy too. They're small enough. They keep your attention because every one of them is different. It was awesome. That is a Gina's Unique Boutique Needleminder. It is blingy, sparkly. So my goal this year is to do another 4. But it went by so fast, I might be able to do more than that. We shall see. This is Thine is the Trick and the Treat. I started this November 24th, 2019. This is what it's going to look like. But I saw someone do this and change it so that it's not all black work. So they did the pumpkins in orange and the skulls in white and the moon and stars in yellow. And I decided I wanted to do that too because it looked so pretty. My fabric is 28 count Lugana opal called Harvest Moon. It's done by Fabulous Fabrics, and I don't think they're in business anymore because I looked up their website and I can't find it, and I'm sad because I would buy more of this fabric in a heartbeat. So this is where I am. I had originally stitched this whole broom in this gold kind of color that the stars are on. And then I decided I didn't like it, so I thought I'm going to frog the broomstick and do it in black and leave just this part in gold. I didn't like that either. So then I had to frog this, so I did that all. The goal on this was 1,000 stitches. I did 126. So it's basically frogging the broomstick, re-stitching that in black, and then finishing some of the border here. I think my goal next year was to complete the witch motif. This is a skull motif here, so I'm going to complete that one. And then I think there's something else up here that I want to start on. But I love this fabric. Oh, and this is a ClaybyKim Needleminder. And Quilting Grimalkin, if I didn't say that. This is that other Pinky Promises unicorn. So pretty. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece. Where is my picture? Here it is. She does not carry this artist anymore. Sheila Wolk. This is called Revelation. I started this on March 6th, 2020. It's on a Lugana EZCount. Just have this top upper corner done here. And this is by Blooming Daisy Crafts on Etsy. If you want to know the exact name, I can get it for you. It's just a really blingy crown. So my goal for this one will be 1,000. Look at the inside of this too. So pretty, those unicorns. I really have to be in the mood to do Heaven and Earth Designs, the 1/1. That, and I need a magnifier glass with a light because these eyes are almost 50 years old and I need to see better. This is Creative Carol Designs. I love this little handle on hers. This is my Dark Queen of the Sea. This is on the Called For fabric, Bewitched by Under the Sea Fabrics. This started in September of 2020, right? Let me look. Dark Queen of the Sea. September 13th, 2020 is when I started it. There was a part of it came out every month for 12 months. This was part 1. That's where I got to. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique. And this is a Snarky Crafter Designs Needleminder. And my WIP goals this year were to do parts 2 and 3. And I did not get to that one this year. So it is still on my WIP board for parts 2 and 3. I wonder if she put something crinkly in this, because I don't think I have anything crinkly. Maybe I do. Okay. What's this? Oh, this is my Mirabilia Bluebeard's Princess. I started her on January 26, 2019. She doesn't have much on her done. She is on one of my fabrics. Violet Splendor Flare. It's a blue and a green. I'm doing the skin over 1. That Needleminder is Gina's Unique Boutique. And I'm doing the teal conversion on her. So you can see up in the teal. My dogs are laying right by the door, so if you hear that, that's what that is. So I think her original goal was 1,000 stitches. I think now my goal is to finish the tail fan. I like specific goals. This is a Let It Snow bag by SheriSewSweet. This is Santa's Sleigh. I don't think this one will take very long. It's 196 by 133. Yeah. But look, there's a lot in here that's not stitched. This is just on a blue Lugana. And this is what I have done on it so far. This is a Gina's Unique Boutique Needleminder. I think I could finish that one too. I don't think there's a whole lot to be done. There's probably a lot of those letters in the sleigh up here. But the front really isn't a whole lot. So the goal on this one was 1,000 stitches. I did not touch it. I think the goal on this one I have now is to complete the entire front of the sleigh. I keep leaving fabric or these patterns out. I'm gonna have to go back through and stick them all back in. And this one is called D&D Workspace. I started this one on November 10th, 2022. It's by Komodo Stitches. I actually was working on it last night, so I'm almost done with it. So it says, you've entered my workspace. A couple of dragons, sorry, my D20 is in the way. I took this with me to New York. I was able to work on the plane because Ada, you don't have to have a light. And roll for, and it's going to say initiative, and then there's some swords on the bottom. So really this one's going to be completed this year. I'm making this for my husband. We watch Critical Role, and so I like to stitch on it when we watch that. So yeah. That one's a plan to be done this year too. I think that's all my WIPs. I just got one for my Lord of the Rings group to do something with a dragon on it. So I think I'm going to do that one. Just put I think 200 is what it's called for. So yeah, those are my WIPs. I did get some stash this week while I was gone. I showed you a couple of the project bags. I'll show you some of the other ones. I did go ahead and order the Dark Queen of the Earth. It's ongoing now, so I got the Needleminder that came with it. And I'm waiting on the fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics. I got some more of those bags. So I've got that one again. I got this one. Isn't it pretty? And look at the front. It's so pretty. And then I got a bottom one. They're so beautiful. And then I also picked up, I'm seeing Sammy J Stitches do the hummingbird from Owl Forest Embroidery, and I have the Atlantis by them. I really like it, so I picked up the kit for that. And then I saw someone on Instagram stitching something from this book. Let me show it to you because it's beautiful, but I don't want to show you the pattern. This Woodland Christmas. I saw it on Instagram. It's so pretty. So I found the book on Amazon. It's a cross-stitch Christmas, handmade memories. And it's by Craftways. So yeah, I want to stitch that. I just love all those trees. So yeah, I think that's it. But I probably will not update every week. I would probably update every 2 weeks, just so that I can show enough stitching progress. And I've got a lot of other things I can go through too, because I have a ton of framed things. There's some in this room you can't see over on this wall. And then there's a lot out in the living room and the dining room. And then I have some finished projects that are hanging in the closet here that need to be framed. So a lot of that needs to be done. And I could do a total stash dive. I've got a bunch of stuff here. So yeah, I've got a lot of things that I could talk about if anybody's interested. And let me know if you have any questions about anything that I showed today. If you stuck with me for this long, I appreciate it and hope you saw something you liked and you'll return to watch again. And we'll see if I can film another one again, because man, if it takes me 2 months to film each one of these, then we're all gonna have problems here. So yeah, please let me know if you had any questions, and thanks for watching. Bye.